cheering footstand for your special guest this evening, tonight's opening act. He's one of the stars of Brit Out of Water. He's Fredericton's finest. He's one of James's favourite comedians. Please whoop, cheer and footstand and go crazy for the one and only, the amazing Mr. Cory Hartlin!
Fredericton! How we doing on a Friday? You made it out of your homes? Amazing! So good to see everybody on a harvest full moon. So shit hasn't gotten any weirder. Let's do this on a full moon, guys. Let's do it. Let's wait until Friday night and just freak the city out. It'll be good. Did people from New Maryland get out? I know the traffic's been a nightmare. You made it out. It's good to see it, eh? Southside, you guys get here okay? You all right? I always fear this part of the show. Northside, you guys here? See, Southside, that's how it's done. That's also how drinking until 2 happens. I guess that's what. But it's great to see you, Fredericton. We made it, of course, on a harvest full moon just after our Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. Another big year for that, eh? And we cruise romantically into pumpkin spice latte season. Hey, I've got a tip for you. I don't think you like pumpkin as much as you think you do. I think you just like cinnamon allspice and a little bit of nutmeg. I think that's really what's going on. And the reason I know this is because I've watched way too much cooking shows. Hey, not once have I seen Gordon Ramsay look into the camera and go, "Sneed's pumpkin." That's not something that we've ever heard, right? Pumpkin doesn't go in stuff to make stuff taste better. Stuff goes in pumpkin to make pumpkin taste better. That's crazy. It's wild. I think I'll introduce myself for a few minutes. If we saw each other on the street, I think I would introduce myself by saying, "Good afternoon, my name is Cory Hartlin. I'm a dyslexic 46-year-old, happily married most days, father of 2 with ADD, IBS, high-functioning anxiety, and seasonal allergies." That's seasonal allergies that made the last 3 years fun. Hey? When I was sick, I was allergic to so much shit, my doctor just sat me down after the allergy test and said, "Cory, you're only allergic to 2 things. Spring and fall." It's not exactly narrowing it down for me, doc. And of course, you end up with a little bit of anxiety, living through the 2020s. I think that can do it to a lot of us. Hey? I'm not a big fan of the 2020s, how it's the decade so far has had this whole hold my beer mentality. Not exactly down with it. The 2020s did it to 2019, 21 did it to 2020, 22 to 21, and 23 would not be outdone. 2023 looked 2022 straight in the eyes and said, "Here, hold all the Bud Light." I did not see that coming. On your wacky bullshit 2023 bingo card, I did not have that one there. Cocaine in the White House, I had that. Space aliens? Yeah, I had that too. I didn't have the Bud Light boycott. Of course, living through the 2020s is like living through a crazy reality TV show. It's like it's directed by Quentin Tarantino, but produced by Jim Henson. It's like I think when they finally got about halfway through 2022, they looked at Quentin Tarantino and were like, "Okay, we get it, they're terrified. Why don't we hand things over to Henson? Henson, what do you got?" Towards the end of last year, Jim's thinking really hard, and he finally comes back to the yearly global planning committee, or whatever the heck they call it. Hey, and Jim's like, "I got an idea. It's my favorite segment of the Muppets. For the next 6 months, we're just gonna do pigs in space." What the hell is going on? Man, I just wish for simpler times, Fredericton, Just wait to go back to May 2022. May 2020. When New Brunswick was on the leaderboard of the pandemic games. We were killing it. We were crushing it. And the rest of Canada was angry at us. And we were like, "Screw you, rest of Canada. We never get in the top of a list for good shit." It's like illiteracy, we got that one. Hey. Heart disease, cancer, gold friggin' medals. Transfer payments, we do good at that too. So we got too excited. Celebrated a little too hard, but that's okay. Man, I think having the ADD is a little bit fun, eh? Anybody else have the ad? Hey? Nice. It usually takes a few longer for people to cheer to that one, but that's okay. They'll get there with us. They'll get there with us, Fredericton. Hey. Oh, it's too much fun having the ad. Like every day you end up with a song in your head. Hey, it's like every day you just have this song that pops into your head. Now you don't get to choose the song. But it's there, and then it's your montage the whole day. It's like you walking through a movie of your life to that song all day long. Tuesday was great. Sky's Neighborhood by the Foo Fighters. I can handle Dave Grohl in my head for 6 or 7 hours. Yesterday, when they found me at Walmart, not so much. For 6 hours, yesterday, all I heard between my blinkers was C is for Cookie by Cookie Monster. I couldn't handle that one. Found me about 3:30, rocking back and forth in Walmart. One of the lazy boys going, C is not good enough for me, Cookie! Wild. Did you guys have a good week? Anybody have a good week? It was a little lackluster, Fredericton. I'm gonna say that, but that was pretty hard. It was pretty lackluster. I think you could do better than that. Fredericton, did you have a good week? Oh, thank God. Yeah, you know the world's gone to shit when Tim Hortons sells a deep fried chicken sandwich. McDonald's now sells donuts. Have we jumped the shark already? I think we have. But I think the best commercial I saw last week was Advil, now with acetaminophen. Oh, really? You mean Advil now with Tylenol? It's nuts. It's too much fun. Of course, I grew up in the Miramichi, so speaking of too much fun, hey, thank you. It's nice to see some Miramichi supporters. They could use it. Hey, it's gone through some tough years, eh? Started out in the late 70s, early 80s. Miramichi was a boomtown, one of the largest growing cities in all of Canada. Hey, sorry? I survived, yes, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, this isn't like TV, I can hear you. No, it's like you stop, right? You're like, stop, oh shit, did I miss something? Is there a fire? Anxious, right? Whew. And then growing up in the Miramichi, like we had a 4-mile runway, right? CFB Chatham had a 4-mile runway, could handle emergency landings from the space shuttle and the Concorde. But could you imagine if it happened? Oh, we'd have come from away those pricks, eh? We'd have surprised the shit out of them. And then, of course, by the end of the 80s, all that was gone, right? We used to make the paper that Playboy was printed on. If you held a Playboy in your hands in the 70s, 80s, or 90s, you were touching a very special place in New Brunswick. It's amazing. And then, of course, by the end of the 80s, the pulp and paper had gone away, the hardwood lumber had gone away, the fishing had gone away, and Miramichi was pretty much a retirement town. And to top it all off, the city thought the water was poisoning people. Because Miramichi had the highest rates of cancer and heart disease in all of Canada. And Miramichi thought it was the water, hey? And they tested the water like 4 friggin' times. And the water was fine. Then they started putting Miramichiers on the scales. Miramichi didn't have a water problem. Miramichi had a fork problem. Said, put the fork down, Tubby. Jesus. And of course, that was the exact same summer Alan Legier was on his Hack and Slash Tour 89. Could you imagine? Do you know what kind of a tourism summer that was? Oh my God. It was a ghost town. Could you imagine bringing little Timmy, hey, to the little tourism bureau in Miramichi? You bring him in to get his little t-shirt for his summer holiday vacation that simply says, welcome to the Miramichi. The fish and chips don't kill you, somebody might. It's not exactly the poster you want, Fredericton, right? Getting older, it sucks. What do I thank you for the applause for getting older? What horse shit? Hey? Like, sir, somebody who would be my senior, like, do you wish your old man sat you down like in your 30s and gave you a talk about what your hair is going to do for the next couple decades? It may have been helpful, right? Like when you're in your 20s, you start out with that beautiful little patch in the middle of your chest that you affectionately call Pangea. Just one delicate little hair mass, eh? And then you cross into your 30s, 35s, Pangea starts to grow. And all of a sudden it turns into a Robert Munch book, and it grows and it grows and it grows. Next thing you know, hair patches are climbing over your shoulders to conquer the Northern Territory. Hey, they've started to venture south of the equator. Now your goodie trail circumnavigates your body. It like starts here and ends here. Hey, that's a whole pile of fun. Now you get to choose when you're at the barber where you want your hairline to start. You gonna be wearing any V-necks tonight? Trim that up for you. Now the only real benefit is my annual manscaping. Hey, I now not only lose all of my self-respect, I lose a significant amount of weight. You should see me when that's done. Look like somebody shaved a friggin' bag of milk. Yeah, hold on to that image, Fredericton. I'm telling you, it's terrible. Because I know what you're thinking. Your Cory fits the jacket nice. Maybe he does some yoga. Maybe he does mountain biking. You don't know. I assure you, I do not. With my shirt off, I look like I'm a week away from my own friggin' telethon, for fuck's sakes. This is terrible. It's good. Of course, I love being in Fredericton. I've pretty much been a resident in Fredericton since about 1995. So I think I live here now. It's the only city I've ever been involved in a high-speed chase. And I was in the cop car. Let me tell you this story for wacky shit on a Wednesday. Sure enough, it's a Wednesday night, right? You're sitting down having a Wednesday night party. And I decided to go to bed early because it was a school night. I had to work the next morning. My wife decided to stay up with her sister and just share a bottle of wine. Sure enough, 11 o'clock, I get shaken awake. Cory, somebody has ran into your car, parked on George Street. So sure enough, you throw on your ripped jeans, throw on your Birkenstocks, and your grubby white t-shirt, eh? Saunter down the stairs and wait for the police to come to give your statement. And you go out and look at your car. And like whoever backed in to my front corner panel made it such that I could look down at the front quarter panel and see the top of the tire. I shouldn't see the top of the tire. That should be covered by the quarter panel, but it was no longer. Anyway, so sure enough, the police show up, eh? And they're doing the interviews, and they're interviewing Alana and my wife and her sister on the steps. And of course, the officer says, come in the car. We need to take your information and your statement and insurance and license and all that fun stuff. Sure enough, a car is coming down the road. My wife goes, that's the guy! Which was his cue to throw me the clipboard he has in his hand and told me to buckle up because, buddy, we're going for a ride! Oh my God! How excited! I'm awake now! Like, I'm awake, ready! And we did the fastest three-point turn ever on George Street. We head out to Smythe and we rip up Smythe following the perpetrator because that's what we call them. And sure enough, the perp in the car takes a ripper down Charlotte, eh? And except he's going fast. He's just beating her. And so we start going fast. And he looks at me and he says, do you know how to clear intersections? And I was pretty sure what he meant. So I said, yes. And so sure enough, he'd floor it between intersections and we get near the stop sign, he'd brake and I go, clear! Because I was almost positive that's what clearing the intersection meant. And sure enough, he's gaining on us. Because he doesn't have anybody to clear intersections. And he's not clearing them. He's just going. 120, 130, 140. Right down Charlotte. No stop signs, no lights, no nothing. And he looks at me and he goes, you know what he's coming up against? I went, oh, sweet Jesus, Mother of Lord. He's coming up past Regent Street, isn't he? This was like 20 years ago, Fredericton. It was the birth, it was a new era, it was the dawn of the roundabout. It was the first roundabout. Hey, on Charlotte, just past the Paragon. I got to see this crazy son of a bitch hit this thing doing $1.45. Woo! I felt like we were in the Dukes of Hazzards. It was so cool. Sure enough, you just see the lights on the back of the car lift in the air a good 10 or 12 feet and smash in a pool of nothing but sparks and glass and screeching metal. And we finally get up and the car is rolled into somebody's front yard. So we roll up beside and hit on the brakes, and he jumps out and I jump out. He gives chase, I give chase, and we get into the backyard and he looks at me and he goes, "You can't be here! You're the one who brought me!" He says, "Just go out and wait by the cop car." Okay, by now a crowd has gathered. My stupid ass staggering out from behind a stranger's backyard in my Birkenstocks, ripped jeans, and a grubby t-shirt. And I'm like, oh, might as well turn these cars off, save the environment and all. Hey, and you turn the cop car off, and then you go to the perpetrator's car to turn his car off, and you see on his seat, there's an ounce of weed before it was legal, right? And a knife. It was like a 6-inch blade with a pair of brass knuckles for a handle, because apparently when you get stabby, you get punchy too. And I had to stay there and wait for all the cops to come and the dogs to show up, and we locked down like 8 square blocks and we found the guy. And about 1 a.m, they were kind enough to drive me back home. And there was the other officer sitting on the front steps drinking wine with my wife and her sister. Because he left her there. I'm not going to say we. I didn't do nothing. I was still trying to regain consciousness. But I love being in Fredericton, eh? Not too hard to tell. We've got a free engineering school in town, eh? I think it's made some strategic traffic decisions, maybe. Got the world's only stop then merge on the Princess Margaret Bridge. That's fun, eh?